My goodness me, it's a bit chilly and very wet at the moment, so it's the ideal time to do some jobs in the greenhouse. So I thought I'll bring you with me, I'll turn the camera around and show you what I'm getting up to. I'm just checking on my late winter started snapdragons. Aren't they doing well? Absolutely fantastic. So they're in their 40 cell trays at the moment. They don't need moving on just yet. You can if you want to, but I think they're fine for the time being, and I've got other jobs to do. So all I've done is just given them a top dressing of some fresh compost, because I did notice that the level of the compost was dropping from all the watering, because it's been really warm during the day, hasn't it? So that compost level had dropped, so I thought I'll just top them up with some fresh, and then that will keep them going until we're ready to move them on into the next cell size. Careful with your seed trays if they're on the top shelf, because they can dry out really quickly because there's less restriction. You can see the compost is pulling away from the edges there. So these, they feel dry and they look really dry. So I'm going to give them a soak in a tray of water. And here's one I've just done. These are the scabious and they are looking absolutely fabulous. So again, I pop them in for about half an hour with some water and a little bit of seaweed solution, and you can see they are emerald green. Just potting on my Rebecca, they're finally big enough to be moved on into their 15 cell trays. They take an incredibly long time to grow and flower. So believe it or not, these are the stocks for pots, and they've been potted on. They've grown visibly already, haven't they, since I potted them on. So these grow really fast. We actually started these after the Rebecca. So they will grow and then they will flower, and then once they're all tired and starting to need replacing, ta-da, the Rebecca will be ready. They would have filled their 15 cells and they will be ready and ripe for flowering. So we'll do a quick exchange, the pot stocks for the Rebecca, and then you'll have flowers all the way to the frosts and often into November. Absolutely smashing. So I'm just going to give these a water in now. This pot just keeps getting fuller and fuller and fuller. What a massive success that's been. I'm also potting on my carnations. Look at those. So they take longer to germinate and to grow, but they've done really well now. And this little bit of chilly weather is ideal because it will help the plants to branch. So everything for a reason. They are tender, so they can't live outside over winter. That's why we grow them fresh every year. They also flower better in their first year. But a little bit of cold that we're getting now in the greenhouse, so there's no heating on these. That little bit of cold is just enough to make them grow into stronger plants. Oh, and fast forward 24 hours, these are some Rebecca I did yesterday. They look like they've grown already. It's a wondrous thing. A bit more space. Here we've got the zinnias. These are on the heat mat because it's a bit chilly for them, but they look very, very happy indeed, don't they? Now, for goodness sake, don't prick out your zinnias. They do not like root disturbance. So if you have any double seeds, then remove them now so these plants don't get disturbed later on. Look how much the agrostemma have grown since I potted them on. They have visibly grown. They look like they've doubled in size. Absolutely terrific. Same with the clary sage. They've settled in so well. They're going to go in my mixed border, I've decided. I'll just let them grow for a bit longer and then I'll harden them off. And then by that time they would have filled these 15 cell trays. And then over here I've got the statice, which are germinating beautifully. And you know what? They're not on a heat mat, and I haven't even bothered taking them into the house. They are so quick and easy. They are just germinating on the shelf in a cold greenhouse. Isn't that fantastic? Super easy. And they grow incredibly fast. So I'll just leave the lid on and let them get on with it. And then finally over here I have got some of the anemones, ranunculus and butterfly ranunculus that I haven't had a chance to place in their final positions yet. So I thought what I'll do to buy myself a bit of time is I'll just pop them up into 1 litre containers. Then I can just leave them where they are to carry on growing. I've got a few more over here. It looks like loads, but it's amazing how quickly a garden can gobble up plants. You think you've got loads, and then when you go to put them out, they disappear quickly. So it's nice to have your own little nursery. So these are the anemones, and the beauty is by the time I get around to planting them, the tulips will be finished. So I'll have a nice space that is looking a little bit sorry for itself and ready for a brand new display. And these will be on the very verge of flowering, so I can do a little pot flip. All in all, I'm really pleased. We're getting on brilliantly. So the bigger plants will be able to go out for hardening off soon, and that gives me more space for the younger ones. That is quite a lot of stocks. And if I turn you around so you can see the other side of my greenhouse, everything is looking great. And I thought I'd just quickly flip the camera around for you and show you what's going on in my own little piece of flower heaven. It's looking absolutely glorious this evening. A little close up look. These are my new favourite China Aster at the moment. I will show you more on these when I get some time. It's meant to be lovely next week. I'm very excited. Hopefully we'll have time to take a day out next week and enjoy the weather. Once we've got your orders out, of course, that is our priority.